a tremendous pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Now back to the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show on AM800.
Okay, yes, back here with you till 1 o'clock today. Aaron Blackmere in studio. And Aaron, let's quickly go over the process of a home evaluation. If someone wants to know what their home is worth,
yes,
they're debating whether or not it's a good time to move. Let's talk about that process a little
bit. Well, first thing they're going to do is they're going to call the Dan Gemus Real Estate Team because we are experts in the area. But yeah, we would like to come out to the house. Excuse me. We'd like to come out to the house, have a sit down with you, maybe have a little chat. Take a tour of the house, ask you some questions about your plans moving forward. Sorry, excuse me. Were you looking to buy first, sell first? So, we want to make sure that we're working on your comfort level because this is about you. This isn't about us. This isn't about anything else, but we're there to answer questions. After we take a tour of the house and take some notes, ask you some questions, we're going to take all that information. And sometimes we'll have to do what I call a two-step. Which is, you're there, you get the information, you look around, then you go back and try and find something that's a little more comparable. But what I tend to do is I bring some comparables with me. We can sit down, take a look at those, see what else is kind of out there. But the big thing is sitting down, getting some sort of a plan put together, so that you know what's going on. You're not stressed, knowing, just kind of floating in the breeze and everything. So, we sit down, like I say, we got to make sure you're comfortable, you understand what the process is, and that's when we start rolling with it. So we want to make sure everybody's comfortable on the same page and answer all the questions that you have first.
And the questions always pop up, right? At the end of the day, there's lots of information that comes up. Producer Ben, Patrice is ready. If we can give her a shout, please. But at the end of the day, you got to just ask those questions because if they float around, right? And then,
we do this every day. So I'm sorry, I'm having an issue here.
Poor Aaron. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. We at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you're comfortable. You understand everything that's happening.
That's right.
You understand the process. When we do it every day, sometimes we take that for granted, and it's like, I know what's happening, and you just talk in those terms. So you have to remember, not everybody's the same up to speed as you are.
Yep, that's exactly it, right? So again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at 519-566-5565. We service all of Windsor and Essex County, so you can find us and we'll come out there if you're this side of Chatham, basically.
Yes, yeah. I don't like going to the other side of Chatham. It's a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
Plus, the OPP there are pretty strict on your speed limits.
Especially when Aaron's air drumming. Yeah. But, all right, on the phone with us, Patrice Surette from Goldmar Property Management. Hey, Patrice, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
We've got a great topic today, all about tenant insurance.
Tenant insurance, yes.
Tell us about it.
Of tenant insurance, the requirement of tenant insurance also. And I think just given, recent things and things you see in the news and things that are happening out there, definitely for landlords, it's a super important requirement that does allow you in the lease, you can check off that they are required to have it. And we definitely recommend, absolutely check that off in the lease because it becomes a term of the lease that they have to stay true to. So they have to have it, and you can ask them to prove that they've renewed it each year. We don't let people move in unless they have it. Because now what we do also is we'll spot check them and say, hey, we want you to provide your insurance, because some people move in, they provide it, and they could cancel it after, right? So
and
really not let them cancel.
If they don't have it, what you'd serve them with what? With an N5 or with what would be the?
Because it's interfering with the.
Oh, sorry, right? we lost. We lost your producer. Sorry, you'd serve them with a what? Sorry.
An N5.
An N5. Okay.
An N5. Yep, because it's reasonable, or it's interfering with the landlord's rights. The landlord has the right to the property as a tenant. The insurance covers not only incidental. So, say if there's a fire, it's going to protect and claim their own personal contents, right? So and people always say, I don't have that much stuff, right? They're just moving out, they're just starting. Yeah. But if you really add up replacing all of your clothing, all of your kitchen stuff, all of your electronics, TVs, right? It does add up, and it's surprising when you start. Absolutely. And if you lose everything because of smoke damage, water damage, clean your stuff so they can hopefully save it. But also, they pay for your accommodation. So say there was, God forbid, a fire, flood, you can't live in that unit, they'll help you pay for accommodations elsewhere, either while the unit's fixed up or, temporarily in a hotel. That content insurance covers that. The other side of the insurance is it actually has a liability component. So say you're the one who accidentally starts a fire or accidentally floods 3 units below you. Your insurance company will be responsible for that recovery of that money, right?
Yeah, so the landlord's insurance company will then go after the tenant's insurance company.
Exactly. Personally, right? So it's car insurance, right? You want to make sure if there's an accident or something happens, you have your liability covered as well. So super important and very enforceable. Like we've seen it. I mean, you have to go all the way through, but it's a requirement of the lease. And if they don't provide it, you can actually take them landlord-tenant for being in violation.
We've got a listener question. Do you want to tackle it?
Sure. Yeah.
So this person's asking, what is the process for fire inspections for larger apartment buildings?
Fire inspections, well, there's 2. You should have a fire inspection company do your annual inspections, and they're testing the fire systems, because generally larger buildings will have interconnected systems. So if there's a fire on the 10th floor, it'll sound all through the building. That's a fire safety company. So there's Philips, All Protec is here. There's a couple different ones, and that's something that you're required to do, is have that company do it.
Is that annual?
That's annual, yes.
Yeah.
And they have a report, it goes in the fire safety box. As far as us, we would be from property management or from an owner's perspective, you should be checking the smoke detectors that are within the units. And you could do that at any time. I mean, really, they're supposed to check them, every 6 months, right? Spring and fall, if you will. And the tenant should be doing it also for their own protection. But if you wanted to do a walkthrough inspection, you could do it every 6 months. But the annual, definitely with a company.
Does the fire department ever come out and inspect?
They could do it randomly, but it's not. They don't do it as a. You can't just call them and schedule it. They could do it.
The most important one is really the one with the company you hire. Essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're checking your exit lights. They're going to check that you're. Again, when they're all interconnected, it's very important that the ones that they're connected to all work. That nobody's disabled any of them. Your hallway bells work. Heat sensors, like some of the buildings actually have heat sensors, so it's going to detect not only smoke, but there's actually a fire. And a lot of times the bigger buildings are connected directly to the fire department. So, having that check to make sure there's nothing faulty in your system is going to avoid those false calls to the fire department too.
Okay.
Because they don't like that.
Well, Jen, hope that works for you. If not, let me know, and we'll ask Patrice further questions.
Yeah.
Patrice, what are you seeing in the market right now? Is it still tight, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing, I mean, it's starting to get, the weather's nicer. People are starting to move a little bit. We're seeing a couple notices, lots and lots of people moving into town, obviously still with the battery plant. We're seeing a lot of those electricians are coming now. So we've got an influx of professionals coming in looking for places, whether shared or some are renting their houses, because apparently those guys are here for about 18 months. So they're not looking necessarily for room rentals or short term. They're more interested in moving their families down for that term. So we're seeing a lot of single-family rentals go out. So it's busy. Students are starting to look a little bit, right, as their leases expire in April. They're starting to get the itch to move. Same with residents. They've all been issued their notice reminding them they have to be out in April. So they're not allowed to stay. So, we've got a lot of student movement. Yeah, and rents are still going up.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. While I have you on the phone, I'm not sure if you've been following the news this week, but a lot of information on the Housing Accelerator Fund and basically the City of Windsor not voting against it, I should say. What are your thoughts on whether or not the city should have allowed 4 units by way of right? So right now we're allowed 3 units. Should they have allowed 4 in your opinion?
I just don't know without doing that and allowing, because you got to think not everybody would do it, just like not everyone is taking the option of doing 3, right? But to allow the people that can and have the capability and the property size, why wouldn't they? I don't understand how we're going to get the housing that we need if they don't allow